Okay, in this session I'm going to go over a basic expression which can be used within inside of After Effects. Now, all I need you to know is it's really not that big maths at all. Wiggle is a certain type of expression where it basically wiggles the value. So if you have a scale of 50, it'll wiggle that, okay? Wiggle that 50%, 50 scale value. Now, this first number is the frequency, which means amount of times per second, so the amount of times per second that it wiggles the scale, and this is the amount, the second number is the amount that it wiggles it by. So if we've got a scale of 50 and we want it to alter sort of randomly 5 times a second, put 5 in there, and let's say we want it to alter by 20, plus 20 or minus 20, we type in 20 by there. So I'll show this to you in context. So this is something we're going to be making. These are all animated without keyframes, okay? They're all animated with expressions, okay? So we're going to have a look at how we do that ourselves. So that's going to be cool. It's a lot easier than you think as well. Now you can see opacity, rotation, scale and position. We've all got a little bit of text in there, and that's exactly what we're going to be creating today. So let's go composition, new composition, let's call it expressions, HD 1080 25 frames per second, 10 seconds. It's all cool, it's all fine. So first of all I'm going to create a rectangle. Let's just fill it with a sort of bit of a darker blue. I'm going to create one here. Okay, so let's rename this to position. Okay, so first of all, if I hit P on it to bring up the position stopwatch, I'm not going to set any keyframes. If I Alt or Option click the stopwatch, text goes red and it gives me a little type in box by here. So all I'm going to type in, wiggle, open brackets, how many times per second do I want it to alter? I'm going to go with 5 times per second, comma, and I want it to move by 50 pixels each way, up and down. Or let's go by 60 pixels. Close brackets and click off. Now if I play, there you go. I haven't set any keyframes. I've asked it to wiggle 5 times a second by 60 pixels left, right, up or down. Okay? So when I say 60, it's these values that are going to be altering by plus 60 or minus 60. And that's our first wiggle. You know? That's cool. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to draw another one. And let's draw that there. And this time we're going to go for, let's rename it to rotation. And let's drop down, hit R, and Alt click that stopwatch. Let's go wiggle. How many times per second? Let's do, again, 5 times per second. And I want you to wiggle by only 30 degrees each way, either plus 30 or minus 30. Close brackets. And we can see there's a bit of an issue here, and it's our anchor point should be at the center. So let's just get our pan behind tool, move that anchor point to the center, and now let's give that another go. So you can see that's got a random sort of rotation on it. But let's say I want to make that more of a rotation. Let's put this value to 100. So 5 times a second I want you to differ by plus or minus 100. So now, that's a little bit too fast now. So let's put that to, double click in here, let's put that to 60. Like that one actually. So yeah, I think that's probably a bit too fast, so I'm just being picky, but I'll go for 45. There you go, split the difference. There you go, that's cool. Right, so make another one, make another shape, another square, and this time we'll rename it to scale. And again, hit S, you know the drill, Alt or Option click on the stopwatch, wiggle, open brackets, let's say 2 times a second this time, just to mix it up, and I want you to alter by about 40 pixels plus or minus 40 in the scale. So 2 times a second, I want you to go between 140 and 60 scale. So 40 in each way. And it's going to do it to the X and the Y. So that's X is across, Y is up. So it's going to do it to the scale horizontally and vertically. Okay. So let's have a look at that. So you've got some nice random animation now with no keyframe set, just tight a little bit. So the last one I'm going to do is create another one by here, and we're going to do it to the opacity. So let's rename this opacity and hit T for the opacity. Alt or Option click, wiggle. Let's go to 3 times a second by 50, and so that's going to be in between 150 really. And then you've got a bit of an opacity there. Now, because I set it on 100, it's only, and I've asked it to differ by 50, it can't go to 150 opacity. It doesn't go bigger than 100, so it'll only differ between 50 and 100. So let's undo that. First of all, set it to 50, and now redo the wiggle. So it'll go 50 either side of 50, so we'll go down to 0 or up to 100. So Alt click, wiggle. How many times a second? 3 times a second by 50. Well, let's do 4 times a second. Okay, so now you can see it's a lot more. There's a lot more variance in there. So I'm going to finish off by creating a text layer and just saying expressions. Move that across. I'm going to change the font. So go for something. I'm not really fussed on the font at all, but I'll probably end up choosing ages spending one now, won't I? No, I'll just go with that one. I don't like the font, but just go with that. And I want to do the position, rotation, scale, and opacity for this one. So P, and then Shift, S, R, and T, so you get all of them. So let's go Alt click, wiggle, open brackets, 4 times a second, alter the position by 50 pixels, close brackets. I'm just going to copy and paste this one into each one just for the sake of it, just to save time. So let's go Alt click, Control V, Alt click, Control V. Okay, so it's now on the word expressions, it's going to be wiggling the position, scale, rotation, and opacity. But actually, before I do opacity, I'm going to put it down to 50 first, and then do it. So Control V, wiggle, 4 times a second by 50 value. Right. Okay, so now let's have a look. Oh, it's a bit crazy. So I want to bring the scale down. It's going far too much. So by 20. No, sorry, not the scale. The rotation. Let's do the scale 20 as well. So rotation as well, we'll have 20, not 502. 20 and close brackets. Okay, so now it should be a little bit nicer. There you go, and we've done all that without any keyframes. And it's very easy, just alter those numbers and it's very, very easy. So, I hope you enjoyed that, hope that helped you, and I'll see you next time.